Hey everyone! In my last video, we took a look at how potentiometers work in electric guitars as volume and tone controls. But now is the part that I'm most excited about, talking about all the weird, less common kinds of pots that you can put in your projects. These can unlock certain mods, new sounds, and even change the user interface of your guitar. There are a lot of different kinds of pots out there, but today we're going to be talking about no-load tone pots. These pots allow you to get a slightly brighter sound than you normally could out of a guitar with a conventional tone control. Instead of going up to 10, it's like your tone control goes up to 11. Now, how noticeable this 11 really is will vary depending on your pickups, your volume pot, and even your patch cable. But I think it's still a really fun and easy option to consider when customizing your guitar wiring, especially if you want to give your guitar a little more bite. In addition to tone controls, these pots can also be useful in certain mods due to how they work. So let's take a look at one. Here is a Fender branded no-load tone pot. From the outside, this doesn't look like anything too special, but when I turn the knob all the way up, the control sort of clicks into place, which is when the no-load function kicks in. So what's going on in here? Well, as I mentioned in the last video, even when tone controls are turned all the way up, some signal still leaks to ground, meaning a small amount of treble will be lost. Now, this effect can be reduced by using higher value pots like 500K or 1 meg, but not completely eliminated. So what's different about a no-load tone pot is that lug 1 gets completely separated from the rest of the pot, usually by some insulating material, so that when the knob is turned up, the wiper lands on this material, switching the tone control off entirely. If we plot out the resistance between lugs 2 and 3 as a function of the knob turn, we'll see that my Fender pot has what looks like an audio taper curve, until it flattens out around 250 kiloohms. That's pretty normal, and we see this all the time on regular pots. However, at the very end, as the wiper hits the insulating material, the resistance yeets itself off to infinity. Furthermore, if we try to measure the resistance between lugs 1 and 2, we'll never get a defined resistance value because lug 1 is completely disconnected from the rest of the pot. From a user-facing perspective, we'll get a relatively natural taper on this tone control until it jumps up to 11 at the end with a click. At this point, the tone control on the guitar is completely bypassed. It's as if it's not even there. Now, there are a few different no-load tone pots on the market, and not all of them include this tactile click at the end. So let's take a look at what options are out there so that you can choose the right pot for your project. So the Fender branded pot we just looked at has this detent, and it also comes with a free capacitor. Yay! This is a 250K pot which will accept Tele style solid shaft and Strat style push-on knobs. And this is a short shaft pot, so it will only mount to pick guards and control plates. CTS also makes their own branded no-load pot, which does not have the detent. So this will work better if you want a smooth motion on your control. There's no solid shaft version that I could find, but it does come in both 250K and 500K values. It's also available with a medium bushing length or a long bushing length, so you've got options if you want to mount these on thicker wooden surfaces. All of these pots I've mentioned so far will only mount to 3/8 diameter holes. So if you want to put these in import guitars with metric specs, you'll need to widen those holes slightly. I'll put links to all of these in the description. By the way, you can learn more about which pots will be physically compatible with your guitar in my Guitar Pot Basics video. Now, if neither of these pots are compatible with your guitar project, there are some alternatives you can consider. One option is to take a pot that is compatible with your project, open it up, and manually convert it into a no-load pot by removing the track material with a file or Dremel tool. Six Strings Supplies has a great article and video on how to do this. I'll link that in the description. The other option is to use a switch pot, like a push-pull control, and wire it in such a way that the pot gets bypassed when you pull the knob up. One question you might have after all of this is, what about no-load volume controls? After all, some higher frequency information can also be lost through your volume pots. Unfortunately, you can't use no-load tone pots for this because volume controls need all 3 lugs to function properly. However, if you want to get nerdy, there are a couple workarounds. The simplest solution is to use a switch pot to bypass the volume control. In most guitars, that would look something like this. Though at this point, you might as well make the control also bypass your tone control to get a more noticeable bump in treble. If you want the simple experience of turning the dial up to 11, I have come across this tutorial by Rob Mods on YouTube. It involves opening up a couple different kinds of pots and recombining them into some sort of chimera. Maybe I'll try that out for myself in a future video. So that's a look at no-load tone pots. Would you bother putting this kind of pot in your guitar, or do you think it's a little too subtle to bother? I hope you found this video informative and useful. We've still got a lot of other pots to cover on this channel, so if you want to see more videos like this one, feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir!